Welcome to A Woman's Brew, where women talk about beer. In today's episode, we're mixing things up, quite literally, with 3 different beer blended combinations. I'm Joanne, and this is Tori.
Hello.
And we're 2 beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us. I'm excited about this episode today.
I know.
I think we've been planning it for a while,
for like quite a while.
Yeah.
I think some of it, we'll say the beers in a minute, but some of it was due to like you had some of them, I had some of them, we ordered some of them. We needed to do the swap. Finally, we got to see each other and do the swap, and then in person swap, and then we've been wanting to do it for literally months. It's finally come together. So excited.
So what we are talking about today is beer blending. So there are 2 different sides, I think, to beer blending. There's kind of the commercial side, and then there's the consumer side, and we're going to be looking a bit more at the consumer side today. But so beer blending is a thing that's happened in breweries for very, very long time. Beers like lambics or wild fermented beers, because they're spontaneous and you can't really predict what the outcome's going to be. They are often a blend of 1, 2, 3-year-old beers that have been laid down in barrels, and then a blender or a barrel wrangler will. I love that job title.
Literally, that is so fun. Barrel wrangler.
So they
sounds
taste
like a cowboy,
doesn't it? The barrel wrangler. I know they've got a barrel wrangler at Wild Beer Co, which is cool.
I picture someone with like a lasso, like going out and trying to catch all the barrels out in the field grazing.
Find the right ones. Have a little taster. So they'll take tasters of all the different ones and then blend it together to make the final beer that they want. Porter as well originally was a mixture of old and young beer. A mild was the young beer that people drank straight without being mixed, but a porter was a mixture. So mixing beer, blending beer, mixing beer, it's a thing that brewers do commercially, and they still do now. And then there's your consumer side, where someone's at the pub and just goes, "What about that would taste like with that?" And they just mix it together. Classic is a shandy. Chuck a bit of lemonade in there. Let's see what happens. But we have got some varieties of beer blending today.
We do indeed. I think we're starting off with a bit of traditional. We're going then to something that kind of, I think a lot of people probably know about, and then something that I think is very innovative with what they do, and I love the setup of it. So do you want to show us the first one?
Let's show the beers. Do the beers first. So our first one, we are going to blend what is called a Trip Trap, and that is a blend of Vesmal double and triple. I'll talk about this because we're not quite doing it the way that you're supposed to, but I'll talk about that when we get to the Trip Trap in a moment. We'll explain why.
So we've got that one, and then next up, which is probably going to be the one that everyone knows, it's the Elvis Hammer, which is Brewdog. So we're going to take again. Joanne's cheating because they've got it. They put it in the advent calendar. She had the advent calendar, and thankfully, she also had an extra jackhammer that she could donate to me because I couldn't be bothered to go and find it myself. Quite frankly,
I've got the pre-canned version because it was so popular that Brewdog ended up just putting it in can as a beer of its own.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to it. But yes, Elvis Juice and jackhammer. So. And then the last one we have, which is probably the one that started it. This is the one that inspired us this
whole episode. Yeah.
Yes, the Urbanaut rhubarb saison and apple crumble sour. Look at that artwork.
Beer blender. So this is. I'm going to talk about this artwork in a second. But Urbanaut are a New Zealand brewery, and they do 2 mini cans taped together that you then blend together to make another beer. They do loads of different ones, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. But I think about a year ago, I saw the artwork for this beer. So it is. It is
video. If you're not watching the video,
it is gorgeous. So it is. It's like a It's a pink and orange ombre background, and then there is this woman with gorgeous streaming green and blue hair in a very gothic looking gown and choker, and then she's got like a totem owl headdress on, and she's just blending beers, and she just looks like a total badass
It's a babe.
beer blending goddess.
Yeah,
she's amazing. And I saw this on Instagram and was just like, what is that beer? Because that label is amazing. And then I found out that it was 2 beers that you blended together to make craziness, because it's a rhubarb saison. Love a saison. Rhubarb saison sounds amazing. And an apple crumble sour.
and who doesn't
You
like
can
apple
drink them
crumble?
separately, right? Drink them separately, blend them together. Amazingness. And then I read that it was from New Zealand, and I was like, oh, we're in the middle of a pandemic. I'm never getting that.
Yeah, honestly, the artwork, I am genuinely like, that is something that that style is something that I would want as a tattoo. Like, I absolutely love it. But yeah, we'll get to that more later, because I've also got some other examples, because I then went ham and ordered all the ones I could get, but we'll talk about that later. So I think a few things that I thought would be good, some ground rules as such before we start. I found this article. It's a bit older, it's a few years old, but it's quite relevant, from beer merchants, and we'll put a link to it in the comments. But they had some good advice about when you're doing beer blending, so I thought I would sort of just call out a few things that they mentioned that are relevant. So the first piece of it is they open with saying, the first time you do it, it can feel like you're wasting good beer. Sometimes you are. So the key takeaway for me in this is, keep in mind that it is a gamble. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Experiment, have fun. Personally, I wouldn't recommend experimenting with something that you tried really hard to get, that was really limited edition, that you've not had before. I wouldn't put your valuable, like, barrel aged whatever as part of it, unless you really want to. Unless you want to be. I'm
going to bring this up
crazy
later on, and you'll see why later on. But
bear
that point in mind.
Bear the point in mind. But yeah, don't be hard on yourself if it doesn't come out right, because sometimes it's just not going to. But it's about the experimentation. That's the fun part. So that's kind of part number one. Part number two, it's start with a small sample. So really, you kind of don't want to chuck a whole bottle or two into it. You don't just want to be like, cool, let's use as much as possible, fill up a whole glass, because ideally, if it's crap, you've just wasted your entire product. So play around with smaller bits. I think it kind of links in quite well with what you said about from a brewery perspective, doesn't it, Joe? They take their time, do small samples of the different barrels to find what works together, kind of take a similar approach. Then if it works well together, if it seems like you just need to amend the quantities of each, or just call it quits and drink them on their own. It's, up to you, but don't go hardcore to start.
And everyone's taste buds are different. So, someone might tell you, 50-50, this one's great. And then actually you like it with a bit, 25-75, maybe less.
Which brings me to my next point that they make, which is rarely, we'll forget this rule later in what we're doing today, but rarely are you going to be doing a straight 50-50 mix. So they sort of said that a lot of the times it's going to be a 25-75 pretty much, as opposed to half and half, because what you're doing is trying to find a middle ground. You're not, if you do a straight 50-50, you might be diluting the best parts of both of them. So you kind of want to find the balance, and so that they play off of each other in a really good way, which leads us on to our last point, which is look for flavors that are kind of contrasting, but they have a similarity, because those are going to be the ones that work the best together. So you want something that's going to be, shared the similar hops, or at least complementary hops to each other, similar ABVs, maybe a same yeast strain, that kind of stuff, because ideally those are going to be what are probably going to be different enough but complement each other enough, that they're going to work together, or just, I guess, overall flavor profiles that are probably going to work well together and be different but play off of each other in quite a good way. So I thought those were some pretty good ways, because I've never done this. I've done it before. I'll talk about it later when I've done it before, but not really this experimental in a sense where like I've never just taken 2 complete beers and gone, let's just mix it. So
Yeah.
I thought that would be some good ground rules for us to start. That's out of the way. Shall we head on and try a trip trap?
Yes. So what is a trip trap?
Besides a fun name. It's a fun
name. I discovered this. I haven't actually tried it yet, so this is going to be exciting to finally try what it tastes like.
Oh boy.
I discovered this through another podcast, Time at the Bar Pod. They did a little live video on their Instagram feed, and they enjoy a Belgian beer, and so they were doing this at home. Now, we are going to use Westmalle Triple and Westmalle Double. What is interesting about these beers, you might ask? So Westmalle is a Trappist brewery. So if you don't know what a Trappist brewery is, it is a brewery that is overseen by monks, and you have to be registered to be a Trappist brewery. Like, you can't just say, yeah, we've got some monks, they're brewing, we're a Trappist brewery. They tend to be in Belgium and in the Netherlands, I believe. There is now one Trappist brewery in the UK. Taint Meadow is our one. That is to be a Trappist brewery, there has to be monks overseeing the brewing. Otherwise, you do not count as a Trappist brewery. So Westmalle is a very well-known Trappist brewery, and they brew at an abbey where the monks live. And in the abbey gate, there is a cafe that sells their beers. And there they make this trip trap. And when you get it at a beer cafe, it is actually half a bottle of the triple, and then it's topped up with half of draft double. Obviously, we can't do that here, so we've got
not at the moment.
bottles. But traditionally that's what it is. And the cafe at the Abbey Gate and beer bars in the local area serve this mix. Nobody really knows when it started or where it came from, but probably, someone just went, let's see what that tastes like, and they enjoyed it. And so now we have it today. So I propose that we crack these two open, we taste them individually, and then we taste them together.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Should we start with the double, because that's the lower ABV?
I was just I reached for, because I was like 2's before 3. Let's go with double.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I didn't get any kitchen roll. And I just
went
in like hardcore. No, it's not. I went in hardcore.
Right.
I didn't think about it. And for this, I'm using some like fancy little taster glasses.
Oh, yeah.
And then
those are nice ones.
Joe's recommended I use my goblet. Yes, they are. I got them from the Whiskey Experience in Scotland. And then I thought I'd use my Staggering Good goblet for added effect.
Because as we know, you may not know, let me tell you, Belgian beer has a lot of proprietary glassware that goes with it, and generally they have goblets. So I've got one of my Belgian goblets to do the mixing in, but I've got my little Belgian tasting glasses. Do you know a lot about a double, Tori?
Why don't you tell us a bit about the double then? So
a double, it's called a double because it should be double the strength of the main beer of a brewery. It is believed that Westmalle made the double and triple popular. That's where they were first brewed. A double is going to be malty, and it's going to have like bready maltiness to it, and it's going to have like some dried fruit, raisiny esters in there from the Belgian yeast. So it's
get that in the aroma of this one as well.
So it's going to be fruit cakey maybe.
Yeah.
This one is 7% alcohol. So you might get a little bit of alcohol warmth on it as well. Let's have a smell.
I'm definitely getting like the bready and a little bit of fruits in
raisin,
there. Yeah, raisin.
Yeah. Sweet.
Oh yeah, it's sweet, but it has like the booziness to it for sure. Like I wouldn't even call it like an alcohol warmth because it's not warm per se.
Yeah.
But it's boozy, but not in a way that is like there's no like burn to it, if you know what I mean.
It's gonna get you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's out, it's alcohol. So it's 7%.
Yeah.
This is 7%. you know it's going to be boozy. I think it almost maybe tastes boozier than a 7% than some of the 7s that I've had recently.
Yeah.
But it's quite nice. There's like a dryness to it as well. Like a dry finish to it. It's really quite.
Yeah, it's
quite
sweet,
nice,
but there's a nice dry finish. There's a nice amount of carbonation in it as well.
It's really nice.
Yeah, that's lovely. So that's a double. So then your triple is then 3 times the regular beer at your brewery. Now this one is paler. It's going to be fruity and spicy peppery from the Belgian yeast that's in it.
Spicy boy.
Spicy. They'd have like big, thick Belgian-y heads on them.
Yeah, there you go. It's really funny because I don't think, like, I kind of knew that they were so different in appearance, like on their own, but then I never really thought about it until we've put them side by side. And I'm like, oh yeah, they are. I would have expected the higher. For some reason, I would have expected the triple to be the dark one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that'll get you as well, because you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm drinking this pale beer. Wait a minute, that's 9.5%.
Yeah, it smells a bit saison-y almost.
Yes. I actually prefer a triple to a double because I like that peppery, saison-y type of flavours that you're going to get from it.
Do you have any fun facts about triples?
They were first brewed in the 1900s, again, made popular by Vesmal. So there you go.
It's nice. It feels like I'm on holiday when I'm drinking.
And I don't like this one should have, like, again, it might have a bit of that alcohol booziness, but I think that a triple tastes less boozy than a double. Dangerous.
I agree in the sense that I think, so for anybody that's obviously listening to this or watching this, the triple that we have is a 9.5. As I've just said, the double was a 7. I think they taste the same level of booziness, despite one being, 2 and a bit higher. Yeah. They do taste very comparable. Like, they taste boozy, but I wouldn't say that it tastes 2.5% more boozy, if you know what I mean.
I think it's got a little bit of banana in it as well.
Yeah. I'm getting that that, like, when you have a wheat beer and it has that banana quality to it, like, that is coming through in this.
Yeah.
But it's funny because it's like the smell is very saison, and then the taste almost is kind of more like a Hefeweizen sort of taste to it. But...
So the double is getting like dried fruit esters from the yeast. So an ester is a fruitiness, and the triple is getting a peppery phenol, which is a spiciness from the yeast.
I'm definitely getting that phenol bit. So are we gonna mix this?
Yeah, right. So it should be. So you should start with half triple and then top up with double.
I'm gonna measure them both out to even levels in my.
I'm just gonna go for it. Right.
I'm not. That's not even enough for me. Let's try our different approaches and see whose approach yields good results. I'm going to get perfectionist on this. It's not a flattering angle for me. Okay. Right. Which one did you say went first?
The triple.
Okay.
I haven't put enough double in. There we go.
I feel like it's going to be overwhelmed. I feel like it's going to be this, like, huge goblet, and it's going to be like this much.
Massive head on mine now. It's
when you put it in,
spongy.
Do you put it in gently or
I put it gently, but straight down the middle.
Okay. Emulating a tap. It's going all over my table.
Listeners, please go and watch the video of this bit.
I've got it. It's fine.
You've got to have it in this beautiful goblets. Look, we've got goblet glasses. We look real fancy.
Look, it's even like the staggeringly good.
Yeah,
it looks very like Abbey. Like, right. Yeah, I've got the big old foamy head as well.
Lovely big fat spongy head on the top. Right. I don't think I've added enough double to mine. I might have to add some more, but we shall see.
Oh, I don't know. How do you know? Like, is there a way to know? Or
I don't think there is. Just taste it and see if you like it.
Yeah, but it's like I could taste it and then I could go, oh, not for me, or maybe it's just because I ballsed up mixing it. I don't know.
We'll find
I'd
out.
still try it again in person.
Yeah, we can try again. I mean, we've got a bit more. We can always try again. So I'm getting a nice mix of the bready, the fruity, and the peppery. Oh,
it's nice. It is nice. I think I did it right. Like your face just went.
It's so yummy.
It's really nice.
It's really caramelly now.
I'm gonna throw something out there.
Yeah.
I think it tastes less boozy mixed together.
It does. Yeah, it does. It's really like caramelly with that lovely pepperiness at the end.
And you still get the raisiny like quality to it. So there's like the dried fruit quality is still there, but when it kind of mixes with I think it's when that mixes with the pepperiness, it almost kind of and the breadiness, it almost kind of creates that caramel type taste because all the flavors come together like that. It's well mixed. This is amazing. We're going to take the podcast on the road so we can try
so we can do it. We're just going to go.
Do you think if we went to the one in the UK, they'd have a triple and a double and we could be like, oh, trip trap, please?
I think they've only got I think they only do one beer. I'm going to have to have a look. No, Tint Middow only have their strong ale. They only have one. But it is delicious. So if you haven't tried it,
how am I going to make a trip trap with that?
Right.
Genuinely, I feel like we get our own Trappist brewery. It's like, oh, cool. We've got, the monks. We've got the setup. We're going to do one beer only.
What this?
Going to write them a letter.
I reckon this old trip trap it is dangerous.
This is like if no one's heard of this before, like this podcast should. Like, this is going to be one of those, like, if you know situations. Like, that's going to be like, trip trap. If you know.
And I didn't know about this. Like, I came across it because I follow Time at the Bar Pod. Go and follow them. And they did it and they put a little video up about it. And I was like, that's interesting. Wait, we've been thinking about beer blending. Let's do that.
We were trying to go over our options, really. It's how we came across. Is like, oh, what else can we do? Because normally we do like three beers, 3 or 4 beers, sometimes 6. So we were like, how can we do more? Let's do another combination. Or why we decided to start with the 7 and the 9.5%. It's traditional.
Historically, we're going in order. That's why we're chronologically doing our beer blenders.
This is like, I don't want to move to the next
I know,
one.
I just want to sit here and drink it. Seriously, people.
Should we sack the podcast off and just go drink?
Sorry, guys, we're ending there because this is just too good.
I think like that's our goal now, like as a podcast, is like make trip traps happen. If you've had one before, let us know your thoughts on it, and where you've had it and what your experience with them was like, because I'm just curious to know, have we mixed it right? Did we balls it up? Did we accidentally make it better? I don't know.
I think if we go back to the rules that we put out at the beginning, I mean, that said do
I threw 25 the rules out after I said
right, do 25 75. This is 50, this is roughly 50-50, which goes against that anyway. You got to know the rules to break the rules.
Well, exactly. That's why it's like, I'm giving you like the rules now, but then bear in mind that when we actually mix things, we're not going to follow those rules.
But I think like we've both gone, oh, this is so yummy. We've done it right. Whether it is exactly 50-50 or not, we've done it right.
I was very anal about it. I got down to
I don't think I put enough double in, but I don't care because it tastes delicious. So
I ruined my table for you guys.
The things we do for you listeners. This is how much we love you.
Yeah, exactly. Do we want to go to the next one already?
Yeah, let's go to the next one. So I know it's really sad. I think I'm going to have to come back to that because it's delicious.
I'm going to sip on it probably the whole time.
Right. I can't be sad because people might enjoy it. I don't personally enjoy this one. I might change my mind now I've got this one.
To be fair,
to the next one.
I have never. I'm going to just clear these glasses out of the way. I haven't actually had one of these. Like, I know they're popular. I've seen them at the bar, all that, but I've never. Prior to doing this, I never really thought about going to a bar and asking for a mix. And I've never. I know that the next one we're doing is the Elvis Hammer.
Yeah.
I know that they have listed it on their menus, but I've never been in a Brewdog that's had the any blenders listed.
And they had for a little bit. They had mixed taps, didn't they? Where they were putting through 2 and you got it. You could mix them together. So I've not had this in a bar. I mixed a Jack Hammer and an Elvis.
Because I will keep drinking
it. Last year's AGM, there was, I think I must have got an Elvis Hammer or I had an Elvis Juice. And I had a Jack Hammer in the box, and then I had an Elvis Juice. And I was like, oh, I've never tried the Elvis Hammer. I'm going to try it. I didn't enjoy it. I like Elvis Juice on its own. I think Jack Hammer, but as we know, listeners who have been listening to us for a while, I don't enjoy bitterness in beers, and I think the Jack Hammer's got a bit of bitterness to it, and I didn't enjoy that. So we'll see what the premix tastes like. I'll tell you about that. But this came about in about 2018. I went and did a bit of nosying around on the Brewdog Equity for Punks forum. I remember that's around about the time that I became an equity punk, so I remember lots of talkings about it and people trying to mix lots of different things. But people tried mixing Elvis Juice and Jack Hammer and came up with this that they enjoyed. They then tried mixing lots of other things. There's trying to find it on the forum is difficult, but I found the thread that it's in.
Yeah, one of us had to. Background, we both tried to find it. I was just doing like just monkey Google searching, and it was like Brewdog blenders, Brewdog mixed beers, and it was like, oh, you want a mixed case of Brewdog? And I was like, no, I don't want a mixed case of
No, that's not what I'm asking for. I asked Rob off of the Brewdog News podcast, and I was like, where everyone, actually I asked in our group chat, where's this thread where everyone was mixing the beers? And we found it, and I managed to go through it. So I've got a few that I pulled out of it that people did that people seem to like. So I should share those with you now. One of them was punk mixed with hop shot. So that was if you don't know what a hop shot is, it was one of those tiny bottles. It was 110 ml and it was like 20%. I remember it quite distinctly because when my husband and I did a tour of the Brewdog bars in London, we got it in 7 dials and it was my one, and I picked him something else and we swapped because I didn't like it because it was about 20% ABV, I think. But they chucked a shot of that in punk, and it made it, probably made it taste like double punk, I suppose.
Oh God, yeah, what double punk tastes
and
like.
I don't like double punk. Another one, Tori is currently, while I'm
sorry,
it's fine because I've only got mine in
pre-mixed. Yeah. Mine's not pre-mixed, so I thought I'm going to seize this opportunity to just look at them together.
The 2 different ones. So Tori's trying to do 2 different ones. No, it's fine. I just wanted to tell listeners what you were doing. They also tried this. I would like to try Jet Black Heart mixed with a framboise. So like a raspberry stout. That is up my street. So I need to try that at some point. Although this was, of course, pre-Nitro Jet Black Heart and Espresso Jet Black Heart. So pre those days when it was just Jet Black Heart. There was then a blonde hammer, which was prototype blonde and Jack Hammer. And there was a Jet Black blonde, which was a take on black and tan, which is that's Guinness mixed with
it's a dark and a light
best, effectively, yeah. So it's usually like a best bitter or like like a harp with Guinness. So Jet Black blonde, which was Jet Black Heart and prototype blonde mixed together. Some of these beers don't exist now, by the way, seeing as it was 3 years ago now. Blimey. Then there was Hazy Jane mixed with Raspberry Popsicle Parade, which was called a Hazy Parade. So Raspberry Popsicle Parade was the beginnings of their AF range of beers. And I would say if you wanted to try a Hazy Parade, you'd now need to get a Raspberry Faux Fox, because the Popsicle Parade range is what the Faux Foxes became.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Faux Fox.
No, I quite like the raspberry one, but
to be fair, Faux Fox was originally Raspberry Blitz, wasn't it? And I didn't have it as Faux Fox. I had it as Raspberry Blitz.
Yeah, I think it was better when it was Faux Fox.
One can of it out of a pack, and I was like, oh no, thank you. So
Raspberry Blitz wasn't quite as good.
Popsicle Parade is like the best name.
It was good. And there was different. Yeah, there was different flavors as well of the Popsicle Parades. They were good.
Also,
shame they didn't carry those forward.
Not going to get controversial, but this is not for this space, but I'm using the lower ABV.
She's got an old Elvis Juice.
No, a new.
Oh, you've got new Elvis Juice. Sorry, the lower ABV. Then you got
lower
ABV.
I've got the new one. Don't at me.
That. Yeah,
I mean, it's fine. I'll do a comparison later, but it's fine.
So then there was a Clockwork Hammer, which is Clockwork Tangerine mixed with Jackhammer. Jackhammer seems to be the base for a lot of these, so just be aware. A Clockwork Elvis, which is Clockwork Tangerine and Elvis Juice. I can see that working because it's orange and grapefruit.
Yeah, but I think it would almost be a bit too much citrus, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's too samey. It's just like, let's take
that's not going to boost
Nipa and another
Brewdog
Nipa and mix them together. You're just going to get.
There's no boost. There's no contrast. It's just kind of two similar ones being mixed.
I would guess the Jackhammer is probably used as the base because of the bitterness. I know that you don't. It's not your fave, profile that you enjoy, but I imagine that balances out a lot of.
I'll just go back to my trip.
I've moved it away from me because I genuinely will.
It. Then there was a Jet Black Tangerine, which was Jet Black Heart and Clockwork Tangerine, and then completely going against, again, know the rules to break the rules, going against the using something fancy for your mixing. Someone did a Tactical Nuclear Penguin with Jet Black Heart. Pause for effect.
Can you put a sound effect in there of my mind exploding?
Yeah.
Because how difficult a lot of people had, like the difficulties people had getting the Tactical Nuclear Penguin and the ABV of it and the novelty of it and the price point of it.
And then you're going to mix it with
and then
Jet
you're
Black
like,
Heart.
Don't worry, I'm just going to mix it with Jet Black Heart.
And they're only like 110ml bottles, aren't they? I've got one downstairs that I bought at Christmas and I've not drunk yet. Yeah, I'm not going to mix it with a Jet Black Heart.
For me, it's the price point of it.
Yeah.
To spend that money for what you're getting, to mix it with Jet Black Heart, I'm like, I want to cry. Everyone teach their own,
do what you like with your beers, like enjoy yourself. But I think this is a good rule. Don't mix something expensive and fancy with something else if you're not sure how it's going to turn out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because it's proven, some people might feel a bit more like it's proven in the sense of somebody's done it and they enjoy it. But yeah, I think that was another one. So in my struggles to find them myself, I asked a friend who works at Brewdog, and he also sort of said that they do a 50-50. It's obviously only on tap. 50-50, Jet Black Heart and Dead Pony Club.
Ooh.
So again, that's ignore the rules.
Like is that a bit of a black and tan as well, maybe?
So with a black and tan, the way you would do it is you would do it. The Dead Pony Club would be on the bottom, and you'd have to layer the Jet Black Heart on top of it. So I don't know if it's served like that,
or if those rules
50-50, just mix it together. Because he didn't say, he just said, it's because I was like, am I going crazy? Have I made this up in my mind? And he was like, no, they do.
It was a thing. It was a thing, and everyone was trying to mix everything with everything, and I think a lot of them didn't work.
Now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna be like, you mix it.
See what happens.
I'm gonna get the most outrageous qualities and be like, mix them together, please.
Right, I'm pouring mine. I'm pouring my pre-mix.
Right, I'm gonna do a 50-50, I guess.
Oh, it's very grapefruity when I open this.
Oh, I know. I love the smell of the Elvis juice. Right, I'm going to do my scientific. I'm going to move the mic away so I don't get crap all over it. And I'm going to do a...
Right, so Tori's actually blending. So she's got both of her tasting glasses.
Scientist.
Going to get her a white coat. So she's literally mixing the two halves of her tasting glasses together into one glass now.
That was too fancy.
And this is how she makes a mess.
That was too fancy.
She's making a mess. She's just making a mess.
Basically, that's science for you, first of all. Second of all, I was trying to do something beautiful. Like, when you make cocktails, you put two cocktail shakers together and you make a beautiful fountain. I thought I'd do that with glasses. It didn't work, guys. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
My husband's going to come in here. He's going to actually murder me for how fudged this table is now. I'm so sorry, Rick. I love you. I'm so sorry.
This podcast is going to end up in our divorces.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. He got really mad because I got another delivery today, but that was a gift from somebody else. I didn't pay for that. That was a trade. I'm really sorry. And now I'm sorry I've screwed the table.
Brilliant.
Right. Cheers.
Cheers. Let's try this bad boy. It's very grapefruity, but it's got a smell. Yeah, it's got a really good head on it. There's a smell about it that I don't like. What is it?
It's the jackhammer.
Is it the jackhammer?
Yeah.
It smells like overripe grapefruit.
I think the thing is it like when it's the Elvis juice on its own, it's like a pop of citrus. It's a nice, like refreshing, fragrant. When it's mixed with the jackhammer, it gets a bit dense.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a really good description of it. Like it's very
I know what I'm doing.
Grapefruit in your face.
Yeah, dense
like
grapefruit.
You need to sing grapefruit. Grapefruit is in your face.
I'm not going to do it. No one needs to hear me do it. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. Like, would I go into Brewdog and be like, give me your finest Elvis hammer, please?
No.
Like, no, I probably wouldn't.
It's not for me. It's not for me, but if that's what you enjoy, then have at it.
I think if I got a beer, like if they marketed this beer and it wasn't like a blending of two, they just created a new beer and they said, here's this, IPA, and I got it and this is what it tasted like I wouldn't be like, oh, it's offensive. I think the bitterness comes through when I do the 50-50 blend. Maybe what I need to do is play with it a bit. When I do the 50-50 blend, the bitterness almost comes through a bit too much and it's muting the grapefruit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to do something very scientific.
She's going to be scientific now. She's going to add some.
Don't do 50-50. That's the rule.
I'm interested. I would like to know what the balance is in this can.
How they've done it. Does it say?
Me. It doesn't say. It doesn't tell
if you work for Brewdog and you would normally pour you would normally make an Elvis hammer for someone, what's the percentages you would do? Let us know.
This isn't as bitter as I remember it being. Side note.
When I try it with more Elvis juice.
Yeah.
Granted, it's the lower Elvis juice. We're going to give that a pass. It tastes better because the bitterness is more muted. So it does find, like what I said in the beginning about the rules, it does find that happy medium.
Yeah.
So I think it works. You just need to do, I'd be more happy with more Elvis juice to jackhammer. So maybe like in the sense the rules that we gave in the first place, 75 Elvis juice, 25 jackhammer. And I think for me, because I don't mind bitterness, but I find that jackhammer's bitterness is a bit in your face aggressive.
Yeah.
No thank you. So I think that ratio, but I don't know what the ratio of yours is like.
I'd be interested to know what the ratio is because it's just not very exciting. Like when I had the Trip Trap, I was like, This is so.
I'm dreaming about it now.
It's so yummy. Whereas this, I'm just like, it's just another. IPA type beer. It's not exciting. I think if you're going to mix two beers together, you want it to be something that's delicious and makes you go, yes, this was totally worth me chucking both of these in a glass together.
This is worth me putting in the order for a core range to do that.
I'm just going to keep my Elvis juices for my pancakes.
Oh, see, I've never thought about it. I did think about what it would be like tangent, because this is what happens. When we don't have guests, right?
I had crumpets today as well.
You said something that's now set me off on a tangent. But I thought about, what if I do that? If I use the Elvis juice to make pizza crust, like how will that impact will it make it like sort of a bit of a different zesty pizza crust?
Yeah. So when I add it so if you are interested, I have, dear listeners, and you haven't seen it already, I have a recipe for Elvis juice pancakes on my blog. I'll pop it in the show notes for you. That I developed because they make Elvis juice pancakes for breakfast at the doghouse in Columbus. Brunch. So I worked out how to do it, made up my own recipe. They are delicious. When you put them in pancakes, you get that citrus tang in the pancake. And these are like British people. We're not talking, pancake day crepes. We're talking
like real pancakes.
Scotch pancakes, American pancakes.
Just call it Scottish pancakes. It's like
so the little round pancakes in the supermarket are called Scotch pancakes.
They're silver dollars.
Cool. In England, they're called Scotch pancakes. Silver dollars.
She's gonna edit me out. Me going American.
We're having British American issues.
It is a civil war. Civil war is happening.
It's civil war.
We're not a civil war, is it? It's
not because
revolution. The revolution happening.
Cool. We'll call them silver dollars if you like. If it shuts you up.
Cheers.
But that citrus comes through, So I think if you put it in pizza dough, then you would get the citrusiness of the grapefruit. So it would depend on what you're putting on your pizza. I like a barbecue pizza, so I don't think it would necessarily work so well with that. But if you're going to put something on it like, like Parma ham, and if you're going to go real fancy and put like, Parma ham and pear or blue cheese on your pizza,
it's like, I just go like pepperoni,
gourmet,
salami. Normal ass base.
It might work.
Rick does barbecue base,
we do barbecue base in my house. But if you do if you're going to put pepperoni on it, I think that citrusness would probably work with the pepperiness of the pepperoni.
I'll have to give it a
go.
Try,
Tell us know. Report back.
Yeah, I will do. Oh yeah, like important update. So I think like quite a while ago, I was saying how like Rick wouldn't get down with like
the beer pizza
dough. So we found a happy medium where we both make our own pizza doughs, and we do we do our own pizzas. And obviously I've showed Joe the photo of it. I mean, it's huge. She likes to say that it's because my hand's tiny. It's not because my hand is tiny. I've got a normal size hand. It was just a really big pizza, so I had leftovers. It was great.
I was going to say, did you eat all of it?
No, I had it for lunch today. It was brilliant. But I decided for my pizza dough, so Rick doesn't do it for his because he is a lame. For me, I make the beer-based ones. Nice. And I have been loving it these last probably 2 months that we've been doing it. It's great. I make one batch and it makes 3 different
best doughs. Pizza dough. Right, I'm putting that in the show notes as well. My beer-based pizza dough. That's on my blog as well.
So, I need to finish the rest of this. While we do, have you had experience because I've had experience with blenders before now that I'll share, but are there any that you have had?
So I recently had, for my birthday, actually, I used it for my birthday. I had a set that is from Fierce and New Zealand Beer Collective, which is interesting because New Zealand Beer Collective is where we got our Urbanaut beers from.
I was going to mention that when we do the Urbanaut.
Yes.
you've beaten me to the punch.
They are I can highly recommend New Zealand Beer Collective. They have New Zealand beers, obviously, and brilliant service, excellent selection. Go check it out. I'll put their link in the show notes as well because they are great. So it was a collaboration between Fierce and New Zealand Beer Collective and a coffee company that I can't remember off the top of my head now. But it was 2 beers called Big Night In. And Big Night In part 1 was part 1 the
I think part 1 was the donut and part 2 was I'm really jealous because you had these.
I did.
You had them. I was supposed to have them, but the order that I was meant to have them in got the courier just played footy with it, so I never got it. But I was meant to have them, and then you were like, "These are amazing," and I was like, good. "I was meant to have those." I think New Zealand Beers still have them, so I'm gonna check actually if they've got more of the packs.
New blenders. New blenders were supposed to be coming, so I don't know if they've got them yet. But part 1 was an Imperial Donut Pale. And part 2 was an Imperial Coffee Stout.
Speaking my language.
Then I used the Imperial Coffee Stout to make a beer brownie beeramisu as my birthday cake. So a beer tiramisu for my birthday. It was delicious. Recipe for that is also up on my blog. Just sharing all my recipes today.
She's given
sharing
out
all my recipes. I am. I'm just like, you have a recipe. You have a recipe. You have a recipe.
Check under your seat.
You've got a beeramisu recipe. So I used that one in the beeramisu, and then I blended. So I drank them separately and blended them together. And blending coffee stout and Imperial Donut Pale. Delicious. Highly recommend those two. So if they're still available on New Zealand Beer Collective, go and get a set because they were really interesting. And like the pale, because I was like, how's a donut pale gonna work? And actually it's got that was a collaboration with with Crossroads Donut Company.
Yeah, so Mark Zuckerberg basically knows that I am like, don't give me a Krispy Kreme donut, give me a real donut. And so I keep getting advertised them and a few other bits. I think also because I think they're called Doughboys in Leeds. They're amazing donuts.
You're doing it to yourself then.
I am.
But they do a sourdough donut. and it was the sourdough donut that was used for this beer. You really get that lovely sourdough bread aroma and then the sweetness of a donut in this pale ale, and then you mix that with the bitterness of the lovely rich bitterness of the coffee stout. I liked more pale to donuts to coffee stout, and it was lovely.
You
Really
messaged me as you were doing, because you were doing the event, weren't you? And you were like, you would love this. And I was like, I'm really mad that I don't have it. But I just at the time I couldn't afford to make another beer. I couldn't. Couldn't afford.
We buy too many beers, listeners.
I can't even tell you how many I have. It's really bad. But I thought they were long gone. So when I was doing some research for this and I looked on the New Zealand website, I was like, oh, they still have them. So I thought, if there's new Urbanaut blenders, I might have to put in
an order
for some. So that's exciting. Definitely. Very exciting. It sounds amazing. So
they were delicious. Go get them. Highly recommend. 5 stars.
So I've not had those ones. I wish that I had those ones. So when I was doing my research, I did find that Cloudwater did some dippers that apparently you were meant to blend together.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure which ones they were specifically, but I know that they had done them. The beers that I have had, though, personally myself, were the Tiny Rebel 8th birthday ones.
Yes.
So the ones I have, I've got them pulled up so I can tell you what they were. So you had Dodge, Dip, Duck, and Dolce, which was a Dolce de Leche pastry stout. That was 11%. And it was meant to mix with a Here Goes Nothing Imperial Blackcurrant pastry goes.
That was my favourite one.
Yeah. They were, a lot of them were good. I think the ones I didn't like, or you'll be surprised, the ones I liked the least, actually.
Oh.
So then there was Not So Fast Round Boy, which was a coconut and vanilla cream. I think it was an IPA, potentially.
Milkshake IPA?
5%, yeah, milkshake IPA, yeah. I think 5%. And then they had Shake and Bake, which was chocolate banana protein hard shake IPA, I believe. That was the one that I think Rick and I agreed we liked the most, and we took a growler of that home because they would let us take a growler of it, which I was surprised because I'll tell you why in a minute. We had Fizzy Bubbly Key Lime Lager, which is 4.8%, Screwface, which was a Sicilian Lemon Sour at 4.2%. Those were supposed to mix together. Then the last ones were Holy Hand Grenade, which was Sabro and Nelson Southern Nepa, and a Paradise City Laurel and Mosaic Nepa. Those were both 6.8%. I don't know if I said the Not So Fast Round Boy was 5% and the Shake and Bake was 6%. The ones that I liked the least just overall was the Holy Hand Grenade and the Paradise City Nepas. And I normally love a Nepa. Yeah. I just found that I wasn't particularly blown away by them, both separate and together. I was not really a fan of Screwface, but that was more my problem.
Oh, I like that one.
It was so sour.
Yeah, it really was.
But when I mixed them together, they were really good together. But yeah, so we went to Brewdog, was one of the bars that hosted the Tiny Rebel Tap takeover for their birthday. So it was close after the opening of the Reading location. So we went to that and we got to have them all individually as opposed to mixed. But I also bought the pack. So I had them all individually, decided agreed that we liked the Shake and Bake the most, took that home with us, which it was really nice, I thought. And then we did the blending of them with the ones that I bought. So I think my favorite ones to blend were probably the Stout and the Goes, the Dodge Dip, Duck and Dolce with the Here Goes Nothing. Those two I just thought blended the nicest. Yeah. It was a bit rich, but it was nice. Filling.
Yeah. So I went to an event for that as well. Oh, back in the days when we could go to events. It was one of the last things I went to before the first lockdown.
Remember when we could leave your house?
Right. And we went to the Pegasus Tap Room and Gin Palace in Canterbury. It's one of my fave little craft beer bars in Canterbury. And we had thirds of everything. And then we mix, and they gave us an extra glass so we could mix them as well. I didn't really prefer any of them mixed. I like them all individually. I didn't like them mixed together. And I didn't think it was a successful blending pack because I didn't like any of them better blended. I like them all singularly.
To be fair, I think I did probably prefer them all separate.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I've got the trip trap burps. It's a scientific name. You'll understand. I think I prefer them all separate as opposed to mixed. However, I think I enjoyed them mixed, except the neppers. Like the neppers together, I was like, I'm not really gaining anything here. It didn't feel like there was... On their own, they were a bit more on the meh side of neppers. And then together, I was like, oh, cool, I've got one gigantic meh of a nepper. So fine. I think the ones that had the biggest impact for me, it was the lemon and lime together because I found the lemon so like puckeringly sour. My husband loved it because he loves a good like
me
super,
too.
super sour.
I love like if it's like sour, not like these ones that say they're sour.
I took a sip and I was literally like, that was the least flattering face. Please don't.
That was a brilliant face.
Thumbnail. I'm begging you. I looked like a thumb. It was horrible. He loved it, and I was just like, you can have the rest of it on its own because I like a sour, but that was just like like you could feel it everywhere.
Yeah.
When I mixed them, I was like, this is a nice lemon lime. And I think that was probably the one that had the biggest impact, but I just liked the Stout and Go's flavors the most, so that together they were really, really nice. But the neppers just did nothing for me.
No, they didn't. Like when if you're going to blend something, you want it to like boost part of it or it to contrast nicely and create something new and exciting. And if it's just the two same things like mixed together, then you're not really like, what's the point?
Agree completely. So this brings us on. My drink's empty. Brings us on to the last one.
I'm so excited.
The sooner we finish this, the sooner I can get back to the trip.
I'm so excited. I'm really excited for this one from Urbanaut.
I am as well, to be fair, because this is the one that kicked it all off. Because if I remember correctly, I think there was a moment where we couldn't get these.
Yeah. So when I first saw it on Instagram, it was like from New Zealand. We were like dead center of the pandemic, like nobody was going anywhere, nothing was coming in and out of the country, and I was like, I'm never going to get that, and it's so beautiful. And then I discovered New Zealand Beer Collective, who I'm going to say again because they are brilliant, and they still had it.
They don't sponsor us. They don't sponsor us. Like, well, I just love them.
They just have a lot of really good.
If they want to sponsor us, they
have. Yeah, like if you want to sponsor us, cool. Because like brilliant service, brilliant website, excellent selection of stuff. Like my personal opinion, I've had a great experience with them. I've done a great. I had
delivery,
very quick delivery, well packed. They did New Zealand Beer Month. And they had some
stickers.
Amazing. You always get stickers. I always get they stick in tap.
I think I did get a tap handle.
Yeah,
they
do
also
got
a nice New Zealand sticker
things as well. Like you just get great things, and like
the logo's nice looking.
The logo's lovely. Yeah, and they do. So for New Zealand Beer Month, they did some great virtual events as well. Like they're just, I really like them. Personal opinion.
They still do virtual events because when I looked today, they had a virtual event coming up. So I think it's really brilliant that they do so many virtual events
stuff
as well.
Yeah,
and the beer
they do great stuff.
Really good offerings,
Brilliant.
Unique stuff. So.
And I was super excited that they had this because I never thought I was going to get my hands on it. And then I've had to hold on to it until we do this recording. I've been salivating over rhubarb saison.
Well, before we open this, what I'm gonna say is I got the other three. I went, like I said at the beginning, I went absolutely ham, and I bought 5 in total, but I already drank one. So I drank a Tangelo, and I don't know if I've said Tangelo the way you're supposed to say it, but Tangelo IPA and a Brew IPA, and
you love a Brew IPA.
My assumption is you mix them together and they make a mimosa.
Yeah. So there's a set. So these ones were just kind of this one, and have you got the pear?
Maybe I do.
The pear one. I've drunk that one because I've bought all of them.
I'll show mine in a minute.
So these ones just kind of are interesting dessert ones, I think. And then they've done a range that were cocktail inspired. So there was like a mimosa one. What other? I think
This
what
one's
else is there?
I think meant to be pina colada, so I
Yeah,
will
pina
show a photo.
colada.
So
Yeah,
I've
there's a
got a
pina colada
coconut
one.
hazy IPA with a queen pineapple sour. That's what, if you're watching the video, that's what
That's
it
in my
looks
fridge.
like. Excited for that one because I do like a good
Yeah.
I like a good one of those. This one I think is supposed to be some type of like Pimm's inspired concoction.
Yes.
I might be wrong.
No, you're
Strawberry
right.
hazy IPA and a cucumber mint sour together.
I'm
Again,
interested
showing
to
it on
try
the
that
video.
because I've not found cucumber in beer to be very nice, but if it's mixed with other things, it may well work out nicely.
And then the last one I got was the one that we originally wanted to do for this episode, but there was only one available.
There was only one.
And selflessly, it's like, Joanne, just take it.
I was so excited about them.
I basically said, if you don't buy at least the one for yourself, I'll be super mad at you.
Yeah.
So just get the next best one for the both of us. And if you don't get that one, I'll be mad. And then you got that one. I went back and looked later and they had all of these. So there's a salted caramel IPA and baked pear sour.
It's really good.
Genuinely, the idea of a salted caramel IPA as opposed to a porter, a stout, or anything darker, I was like, sorry, what?
Yeah.
So
it's good.
Interested. You haven't told me anything about it, and I don't want to know anything about it because
other than I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I just want to be surprised. But yeah, the Tangelo and the Brut. I say Brut. That's what you say in the US. Is Brut
IPA.
Yeah, in the US you'd say Brut. So yeah, that's the one that I had, and I already drank that one because I also got the Tiny Rebel Blood Orange Mimosa. So I did a bit of a comparison between the Tiny Rebel, the blender from Urbanaut, and an actual mimosa that I made with blood orange juice, just to kind of see how it stacked up to an actual mimosa, which one sort of represented. Did they both represent it? Had to go. Eventually, I'll write it up when I get around to it. If you know me by now, you know that I'll probably get around to it next year. But we'll do.
Check out the Adventures in Optimism blog.
Shameless self-promotion. When I get around to writing it, you'll know. But yeah, it was really nice. So I'm excited to try this one. Yeah. So I'll let you get on with it. The presentation is amazing.
Yeah, so it's 2 cans and they've got, so if you're watching the video, there's a black band around the middle. And if you pull that apart, it breaks into 2 250ml cans. Now, apparently, according to New Zealand Beer Collective, these are a bit of a nightmare to import because HMRC is like, so it's 2 cans, but they're in one
different ABVs. Some of them are different,
and they've got
ABVs
different
well.
ABVs, and they're like, yeah. So they end up having to import them into the country. They have to do both cans at the highest ABV, otherwise, HMRC has a meltdown because it can't work because it wants them to break them apart and do them separately, and like that's completely
is the presentation
of what it is.
Like, so if you look at the video right now, like we showed it at the beginning, but like you can see on the video, it's this lovely lady and she's pouring from the can to the glass underneath. It's like a mirror image. It's like a playing card, if you will. If you're not watching the video, it looks like almost a playing card. We have the queen right side up and upside down, and the top one is pouring the drink from the can into the glass being held by the bottom reverse mirror image one. And if you were to break that apart like that, it would be fine. But I think part of it is the adorable presentation.
Yeah, and like that you get to take them apart and have these 2 tiny cute cans.
They're adorable, like little stubbies.
Yeah.
The back of them as well, it says 1 taste can A, 2 taste can B, 3 blend can A and B together for party forever.
Yes, so that's what we're going to be doing today.
I thought you were going to give me a yes, queen. Oh no, my tab.
Right, we're gonna crack these open. I'm gonna tear this apart now.
I have to because
right. So you've got to do it in one fluid motion, otherwise you tear the.
I already did it. It's already done. I've ruined it.
Aha! And then you get this lovely sticky band that says beer blender. Do you break it? Oh, you are rubbish.
No, I'm a garbage person.
Right now, ta-da! You got 2 little stubby cute cans.
Adorables.
250ml. And do you know what? I would love it if more breweries did 250ml cans of like high ABV beer.
For me, the
perfect amount.
The Lorelei, was it Lorelei? Is that what it's called? The Omnipolo.
Yeah,
those ones. They are so amazing. But like because of the price point, and they're very filling.
Yeah.
So I find that I love the peanut butter and jelly one, but I split that can, and it's 500. I think it's 500 ml.
Yeah,
or
those
something
are big
like that.
ones.
They're big boys.
Yeah.
I split it with Rick, and even 50-50. By the end of it, we were like, oh, that's more than enough.
Yeah.
If, Omnipolo, I'm pitching you this idea. You can have it for free. I've pitched it before in the past. Take it. You do a whole line of these little stubbies.
Yeah.
And I think if you did like all the different taste and Lorelai's, like people would buy that as like
can you imagine about Bianca in this? That's the perfect.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, Bianca. I keep calling it a Lorelai, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's Bianca.
Or like imperial, 10% imperial stout in one of these. Perfect amount, just to make you happy.
Don't at me just because I said it the wrong name. I haven't had one in ages. I don't know.
Wonder Beyond did a few high ABVs in this right at the beginning of last year, and then I never saw them again, and it made me really sad because they were the perfect size. Like if you're just tasting and you want to just that's just about enough to drink and really taste the beer without having, way
you don't have
too
to share
much on your own.
And
I'm, it's fine when you're in a bar and you can share with people, but at home, like the Hubs doesn't like the high ABV, doesn't like the interesting flavors. Like give him a lager and he's a happy man. So I have no one to share them with. So then I have to drink the whole thing.
I'd share them.
And I don't necessarily want to. I know you would, but you're not in my house.
I know.
Well, which one are we starting with?
Well, I think the Saison, because it was on top.
It's can A. Right.
Yeah. Saison's can A. Oh shit, it's lively.
Is it?
Oh god. Please don't bleep me out. That was a natural reaction. You can't stop that. This Saison.
It's very orange.
Yeah, it is quite orange, isn't it?
Ambery. Orange.
Definitely orange. I'd say orange.
Yeah.
Had a bit more. I think it's a bit more than amber. Yeah, had a fizzy head.
Fizzy head that's gone. It's a bit vegetal.
It doesn't smell.
Not vegetal. Leafy.
Yeah, agree. I think it smells almost less saison-y than the triple did. Like I think the triple smelled more because I think it's that peppery, like fennel that you said.
Yeah. It's quite nice, though.
Ooh,
tart.
Surprising.
Oh, I learned a new tasting technique the other day. Do you want to try it?
Okay, let's try it.
Right.
Show me.
So you have to, I have to walk you through it before you do it. Right. So you have to put some in your mouth, hold your nose.
Okay.
And then you swallow. And as you swallow, you blow hard out your nose. But you have to keep your mouth shut the whole time. This is going to be great. Right, let me demonstrate.
This is my only cans content. What are we doing?
Right, as soon as you've got beer in your mouth, you've got to keep your lips closed the whole time.
I can't because I'm going to laugh. Ooh. I can hear you breathing out as well.
You have to hear that hard because that's your retronasal kicking in. So as you swallow, it's passing your nasal cavity. When you blow out, it's bringing those aroma particles down your nose. And so you're getting more of the flavour from the aroma.
Right.
Science.
Right.
This is where she blows it out her nose.
I've never done that in my life. Can you imagine? This would be the most embarrassing time to do. Don't say things that are going to make me laugh or I can't do it. So put it in my mouth.
Put it in your mouth.
Hold the nose.
Breathe it. Hold your nose. Swallow. Breathe sharply out. So you have to breathe in.
Afraid my nose ring is going to just go flying.
Breathe in, drink, swallow.
That failed so horribly. I did get.
It takes practice.
I breathed out my mouth. It was so I was so concentrated on do this, then do this, then do this, then do this, and then I went to go breathe out, and I just went
It takes practice.
Yeah, that didn't work, but I did get a bit more smokiness to it when I did that. I don't know if that made a difference. Oh, I'm going to try it again.
Okay. I get more floral when I do that.
I can't do it at the same time as you because when we go to line it up, it makes me giggle. Again, we are genuinely, I will vouch for Joe will vouch for me. We are not drunk.
No.
We are not drunk. Okay, I'm going to try it.
Okay.
I don't understand.
Don't get anything? Doesn't work?
I think it works on me. What am I supposed to get?
Because then you get more flavors in your mouth. Because
I think I'm
your
too
mouth
focused
is
on the nose.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, what's happening with my nose?
Because your mouth is like your senses are
right.
tricked into paying more attention to what's happening.
Third time's a charm. I'm gonna try it again. I've opened my mouth again. Yeah, I give up. I quit. I can't do it.
It takes practice. It's okay.
Yeah, I'll practice it off
I got
camera.
more when I did it. I got more floral rhubarb. But there's definitely a smokiness. I think
I get the floral element. I think that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I got a bit more like smoky for some reason when I was doing it.
I think that's the pepperiness. It's coming across smoky.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite a moment. Some of this one, I think it's quite good.
That was nice. Don't drink too much.
Definitely get
a blend.
Rhubarb. Yeah, I've got half a can left.
You got more. Okay. I had obviously put a lot of mine. Right. So the
second
second one.
I am.
The second one is the apple crumble sour. So this one is supposed to. So the rhubarb one. Let me read what's on the can. Fresh and juicy with a playful hint of bubblegum. Oh, I do get that actually.
It smells like apple crumble.
This saison hits with a wave of fruity, spicy esters on a crisp layer of rhubarb, festive and hazily delicious. And this one is a green apple sour, lightly sprinkled with brown sugar and cinnamon, and a wee drop of French vanilla in this late night delight.
You are going to literally have a blast editing me with my excitement, because while you were just looking down reading it, I was like having like a, because it, can I just say, the smell of it, I've not tasted it yet. I've smelled it. I get the brown cinnamon. I get the apple crumble. Like I literally smell apple crumble.
And there's a bit of vanilla in the back.
Yeah, it makes me think of fall in New England. Leaf fall down.
She feels happy. She's home.
I'm so happy.
I'm going in.
That's the thing I miss most about New England is autumn. Is the apple picking and apple based things. And this is like the smell of it is like.
Stop talking and drink it. It's green apple. It's beautiful. It's really lovely.
Happy. Oh my God. Granny Smith's.
Mm-hmm. Proper green apple.
Oh my God, I'm so happy.
Little hint of cinnamon, sweet brown sugar, and then there's like a vanilla-ness. Oh no, I don't want to mix it. Right.
Urbanaut,
I'm saving that
can you just send me a vat of apple crumble sour, please? I love it. I don't want to mix it.
So this is where you have more apple and then you add a little bit of the rhubarb.
Okay, I'm going to not do a 50-50 this time.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to mix into my bigger glass.
Oh my God, it's so good. Oh yeah,
we are mixing.
I'm going to save myself another glass. I'm just going to pour directly into this.
Okay.
Oh, that's some nice ASMR for you. I just eyeballed it. I don't know how much I actually did in the end. Colour comes together now. I would say it's a bit more amber with what I've just.
So I've not put a lot of the rhubarb in. I'm going to whack a bit more rhubarb in mine.
The problem is I've not done exact measurements, so it's like if I wanted to recreate this, I couldn't.
When you put the rhubarb in, it gets more fruity.
Let me take some water because I'm still getting the cinnamon for sure.
Yeah, and the brown sugar.
But I'm getting less far less distinct apple. You know what, actually? Yeah, it's more rhubarb apple crumble, but far more. I think the rhubarb kind of overpowers the apple in mine. Let me put a bit more apple in mine.
Yeah, put a bit more apple in.
Oh my God.
So out of the two,
I'm being stingy.
Out of the two, I'm surprised because I like the apple crumble sour better than the rhubarb. But when you mix them together, the apple just lifts the rhubarb one.
I think I made a mistake.
Fruity mix. Did you put too much in?
I did too much rhubarb. So when I've just topped it up with apple.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
you need mostly apple, and then just keep tweaking the rhubarb to get it just fruity enough.
I'm not gonna lie though, so I'm not, rhubarb in general. Like, I wouldn't say that I'd go out of
It's
my
not my
way
favorite.
to
Yeah,
like
it's
a
not my
rhubarb
favorite.
crumble or anything. Yeah, like I don't dislike it, but it's definitely not like, love it or anything like that. But apple crumble, like I maybe wouldn't go out of my way to buy the rhubarb saison on its own.
Yeah,
but the apple crumble sour, if they sold for 40 mils of this, I'd buy multiple
it's
cans
well nice.
because it is really nice.
It's really delicious. Yes, I like that a lot.
So yeah, they're from there's a bit of facts about them. They're from Kingsland, which is Auckland, New Zealand. So I don't know much about New Zealand myself, completely honest. The difficulty is like they only ship outside of this website, which is the New Zealand beer shop
Collective.
Collective. But it's nz-beer.myshopify.com/collection/beer, and you can get all the beer. So yeah, the New Zealand Beer Collective. Outside of that, I don't think you can really get these because they only ship nationally within New Zealand. What I really liked is the quote from their website, which is Urbanaut beer is made for the worldly explorer, the one who finds comfort in unfamiliar surroundings, thrives off a foreign atmosphere, and uses diverse urban environments to shape their perspective as a global citizen. And I was like, yeah, I get down with that. That's brilliant.
Yep.
They do cider, they do mead, they do beer. They do all the other blenders. They do non-blenders. They do, full on 440s. I really like what they do, and I just wish they were like. I wish more people knew about them because it's very underrated.
I think this concept is really clever, and they do it well. Like, the concept's really clever. Yeah, Tiny Rebel tried to do it, but I wasn't excited by any of that. But these ones, like, they're good individually. They're great mixed. Like, they're really good beers.
Literally, the salted caramel IPA, like, all you had to say was salted caramel IPA.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, like 100% I want to know what that tastes like. And when you said there was only one, I was gutted. So when I went and I saw that one was available, I was like, I'm just going to put in an order for all of them because I couldn't. I had a specific budget, but then I was like, I genuinely cannot make up my mind. I'm just going to get more. And I haven't had one that I've regretted yet. So
yeah, they're really good. Highly recommended. Go buy them, everybody.
So final thoughts from you, because I think that kind of covers us all off.
So if you see a traditional mixing of beers, give it a go, because you might get an absolutely beautiful caramel hug in a glass like we did. This is delicious. If you fancy mixing some things together, give it a go, see what you think. Like, as you know, taste is subjective. Do what you enjoy drinking.
Play around.
Have a play, mix things together, see what you like. Like, as we said, don't mix something special or something that you'll regret not having
or
on its
do
own
it
to drink. Or do, if that's what you feel like, if that's what the mood you're in, go for it. Yeah, you do you.
Don't blame us. Like, we told you not to do it. It's not our fault.
So. Yeah. The rules were don't do anything special.
Rules are don't do anything special. But I think for me, the Trip Trap as a whole, as a unit, was probably my favourite. However, my favourite overall beer was the Apple Crumble Sour.
The Apple Crumble Sour is delicious. I'm so glad that we got to try this because I was so blown away by the art, and then it being such a delicious beer in can as well. Just double a thumbs up.
Yeah, tattoo inspiration for me. Yeah, definitely so tattoo inspiration. So that artwork.
I am now I already was a fan of Urbanaut from the beers that I've had from them before, but I am fully Urbanaut fangirl now.
Oh god, yeah, no, same. I'm gonna look out for the new ones they do, the blending packs.
I had a really lovely salted lime sour from them as well, which was absolutely delicious.
Oh, you had it as part of the
I had it as part of the New Zealand New Zealand
collective tasting pack thing.
Yes, it was New Zealand Beer Month's Women in Beer panel, and they sent out a beer box, and that was in it, and it was absolutely delicious.
Yeah, sounds really nice to be fair. But yeah, so I guess if you guys want to see us make more of our own blends, get creative, if you've got any suggestions of ones you want to see us mix, because like I think we're open to, not even just as a podcast, if you want to see us do a live and just
we could do a
mix
live.
2 beers, like we can do a live. We can just you can give us suggestions. We'll get the beers. And
do
then
an Instagram live.
On Instagram live, we'll just mix 2 beers together and you can get our thoughts on it. Let us know. You can either put it in the comments on YouTube or you can reach out to us on social media. Joe, where can they find you at?
If you want to find me, because this is also, we said this earlier, I don't think we've said it in the recording yet. This verges as well on beer cocktails. There's a little bit of an overlap. So if you would like to see us do more about beer cocktails, you want to talk to me about beer blending or beer cocktails, you can find me personally at A Woman's Brew. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I don't check the Twitter. Don't message me there.
Don't at her on Twitter.
Don't at me on Twitter. I won't pay attention. I do check in every now and then, but not very often.
If you want to get back to her in 3 months' time on Twitter,
I'll get to you eventually. Or you can come and check out my beer school, Love Beer Learning, where we learn about all the different beer styles, like a Trappist triple or a Trappist double. That is Love Beer Learning. We are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, the TikTokies, Pinterest. We're everywhere. Come find us. We also have a website, which is lovebeerlearning.co.uk, or you can email us at lovebeerlearning@gmail.com. We will pick up emails for the podcast there as well. So let us know. Do you want to hear about beer cocktails? We could do an episode about that if you would like. Do you want to make us mix weird things together and see what our reactions are? Let us know. And if you'd like Tori to do that, where can they find you?
Yeah, I'm going to probably just say that I'm down for a beer cocktail episode, regardless of what other people think.
I think
anyway.
we're going to do that anyway.
We're going to do a beer cocktail
episode. Do it anyway.
I want to do it. But if you want to, find me, ask me to do weird concoctions, because I'm always down for a weird concoction. Don't care. We'll try it anyways, at least once. I can't say I don't like it.
Ask her about her Elvis Juice beer pizza dough when she does it.
Yeah, ask me about my pizza dough. Joanne's the better one to ask about. But if you want to pretend that I'm better at that, you can find me on Instagram at adventures_in_optimism. And I just only have the one plug.
I've got so many accounts. I apologize.
That's all right.
Difficult running all these accounts,
honestly, like I'm exhausted on your behalf, because you also take the emails for the podcast on your email. So I don't have to bear that brunt. So thank you, Joanne. But reach out to us. Let us know the weird stuff you want to try, the new content you want us to do, any Instagram lives you want us to do.
Yeah.
Or just, just don't be horrible to us. Because if you're horrible, we'll just ignore you.
We are here for joy and celebration and fun. So don't be at us with none of that negativity. Positive vibes only, please.
Yeah, let's end on that. Positive vibes.
Positive vibes. And on that, cheers.